Athletics.
Drive to deep center field. Going back, Hernandez hit the track right to the wall. Gone! Elvis Andrus!
And 29 other MLB clubs.
High drive, deep left field. Nino left the building.
Guerrero lifts one to left field and gone.
Sonny, that was a moonshot out there in the right center.
Alonso defends his title, the 2021 Derby champion.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from OPS Plus to juiced balls to game-changing moments. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us next from the town, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is A's Cast Live from the field here at the Oakland Coliseum as we're getting you ready for a little A's baseball. It's firework night. That's right. We're going to have fireworks, going to have a great series as we got the Athletics in town against the Boston Red Sox for 3 games. Absolutely love when the Sox come to town, and it's going to be rowdy. It's going to be good. We're going to have some fans in the ballpark, which is going to be phenomenal. Dave O'Brien from the Red Sox, he does Red Sox television, will be here coming up at 4:10. Cole Irvin, who we're going to have to bust his chops. Cole's not one of the top 10 fastest workers in baseball, and I know he prides himself on how fast he works, but we're going to have to talk to him about that. Another quality start for him against the Houston Astros on Wednesday, and then we'll have the Mark Kotsay show. What day is it?
Friday.
And who shows up every Friday?
Mark Kotsay.
It's the Mark Kotsay show. He's going to be here at 5 o'clock.
Brought to you by Nest Betting.
So we'll have Mark Kotsay at 5. We're going to have Cole Irvin at 4:45. Is that a after batting practice?
Yeah, so the time is tentative. I know I have like 4:45 on there. On the screener at 4:30. He'll be somewhere probably in that window.
I'm just going to put question mark-ish for Cole Irvin, and then Dave O'Brien coming up here at 4:15. I do know this. However it happens, I have no analytics, I have no data, I have no numbers that can try and figure out why the A's have not been good at home. But it's just a reality. At 13-13 on the road, they've been a far better team on the road than they have been at home, because at home, it just has not been good. They have lost 17 of 20 here at the Coliseum. They're on pace to score 57 runs, which would be the second fewest in a season for the Athletics. So that pace, what is the year, 78?
Yes, 78.
78. Now, back in 1978, they scored 532. Right now, they're on pace for 547. So in modern-day baseball, and even baseball that I know 78 doesn't seem like a long time, but yeah, 78 was a long time ago. We're going to be honoring the 72 team here tomorrow. And when you think about the 72 team, you know, that was a long time ago. It was 50 years ago. You want to know how I know that?
That's the year you were born?
Yeah, and I just turned 50. It was a long time ago that these guys were winning their first World Series. So 1978, I mean, when we start going down the average home runs, on-base, slug, OPS, you name it, the A's are in the bottom half of everything offensively. They're 27th in runs scored, 28th in home runs, 30th in average, 30th in on-base percentage, 30th in slug, 30th in OPS. It's just, it is what it is. They don't hit, especially at home. And for the pitching, for the most part, it's been good. At times lately, the bullpen hasn't been what you expected it to be, as, you know, they were really, really good and kind of carried that. But at this point, they got to start hitting. And it was nice to see them not get no hit by Verlander. It was nice to see kind of a little mini explosion and Bethancourt go yard for the first time since 2016. Guy who's red hot right now that you got to talk about is Elvis Andrus. The last 10 games, he's hitting .351. He has a 1,016 OPS. He is getting it done. But for the most part, the entire offense has just they haven't carried their weight this year. As we're watching the A's, as you can see on YouTube or Twitter, if you're watching the show today, you can see the A's are taking batting practice, working every day, working hard. It just hasn't translated at home. And when you look at home runs, only 12 home runs at the Coliseum this year. Only 12. That is such a low number. And we start looking at the A's and start comparing them to other teams. You start seeing the Tigers, you start seeing the Nats, you start seeing the Orioles. And whether the Orioles changing Camden Yards has been a big deal or not, it's just when you're in the bottom half of the league and you're trying to figure out how to score, you can make it rough. And hopefully there's going to be a little bit of turnaround. I'm kind of hoping, and I don't know about you, Cody, I'm kind of hoping that with fans in the stands that we're going to see a little uptick. There better be, because if you put around 20,000 in the stands tonight and you see the same old, do not bring fans up again on the postgame show. I've made the point. I don't want to hear about fans because we just went through a full season with no fans in 2020. 2021, we were limited most, depending on what state you're in, what county, as Alameda County is back to masking in public places. I don't know what the official letter of the law is as we speak, but I can tell you now here at the Coliseum, we're wearing masks again in the press box, and in certain places, whether it be the tree house or any place that's enclosed, we are going to be wearing masks. But these guys should be used to not playing with fans. They haven't had fans. So I don't want to hear that as an excuse. And if we're actually going to have decent-sized crowds, not great, but decent-sized crowds, especially tonight and over the weekend, and you don't hit, I'm not going to want to hear the excuse anymore, because there's going to be some people in the stands. And tonight should be a night where, well, if you haven't been able to get your juices flowing, which I'm not buying, tonight will be a night where you should get it going, as we're expected to have, what do we expect, like 20,000?
Yeah, I remember that's the number you told me. So, and I believe everything you tell me. So, I missed the homestead meeting. So usually that's when we find out.
I'm worse than the internet. If you believe everything in the internet and then you're believing everything I say, now you're really in trouble.
Yeah, and you mentioned real quick, the home run race, or lack thereof. 104 home runs is the pace that they would hit this year as a team. That'd be the third fewest in A's history, behind only 1968 when there was 94, and 1978 when the team hit 100. So the A's are on pace right now to hit 104 home runs on the season. That'd be the third fewest in Oakland A's history.
If I had to bet, how many they have now total?
34, I believe. Yeah, 34. It's 28th in baseball.
I would take the bet of them not hitting 100 this year.
That's not. I mean, in a league where everyone hits home runs, that's
they got humidors everywhere. We don't know what's in these humidors.
Now those teams,
cigars, baseballs.
True.
I know what humidors do. I know what a humidor does to my cigars. Keeps it from drying out. Keeps it moist. I'm wondering, moist leather doesn't travel as far. But the turnover rate that we're going to see, what are the A's at? We're at 43 players on the year?
Yeah. And
that's going to climb. You're going to tell me
it's June 3rd.
You're going to tell me the A's are going to hit 104? We're a third of the season. You play today, a third of the season, it's gone. You think they're going to hit over 100 home runs?
I mean, it doesn't look like it right now, but I'm being an optimist.
Oh, you know what? I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's an optimistic Friday, and I have no problem with
because if you look at those two other teams in 1968, that was the first year in Oakland. And then 1978, that team.
But the ball in the humidors is probably playing like the ball back in 1968.
Okay.
Reggie Jackson was on that team.
True, but that was their first year in Oakland. And in 1978, they only hit 100 home runs. And that team that year lost 93 games. The next year, they lost 108. The 79 A's.
Well, the best advice that I really could give, if you think about it, is for these guys, you got nothing to lose. You know, where we are at this point, these guys have absolutely nothing to lose. I mean, you are in a situation to where, a lot of organizations, and Dave O'Brien is walking over right now as we're going to have him on our set. The reality is a lot of these guys would not be at the big leagues. They wouldn't be at the big leagues with other teams, as Dave is joining us now, and as he knows. We've had him on the program so many times over the years, but because of COVID and everything, we haven't had you in person on our set here on the field. It is wonderful to find face-to-face finally meet.
Great to see you, Chris. Great to be always great to be in Oakland. I love coming to Northern California. I've spent the previous 3 days up in Napa.
That's correct.
With my wife and my daughter, and visited some incredible vineyards, which we love to do. We just don't get out here enough, but it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, your daughter actually crashed my house the other day, and so I've seen your daughter recently.
Yeah,
and the great Alex Jensen, who obviously fills in here.
Yes, and that big ring that he gave her too. So yeah, we're all so happy to have Alex as a member of our family very soon.
Yeah, you're having to plan a big wedding, I hear, coming up.
A couple of them. Sammy's younger sister, Caitlin, gets married in September, and then Sammy about 13 months later down in San Luis Obispo. So, yeah, we're going to spend a little more time in California than we normally would, which is great for us.
Safe to say you're not retiring anytime soon.
Apparently not. Yeah, that's what I've been told. I've been told it's the dad and mom's responsibility to pay for virtually everything. So but it's a great way to go.
I have 16-year-old twin girls. I'm just excited they're driving right now.
Right.
And that I can, because our schedule, we're here late. By the time you get home and the next day, you got to get up and take the kids to school all these years.
Yep.
To actually now sleep in, as I know they're getting to school,
Yeah.
It's like it's changed my life.
It is, but are they both good drivers, and who taught them how to drive?
I tried. I was a little negative, I think. So the wife kind of stepped in.
And she was probably a lot better at that, because that's what happened in my house.
One has passed and is officially the driver. The other is like, well, if my sister's driving, I'm kind of okay with just being in the side seat, because they're not really going anywhere other than school. So
Sure.
I'm just, I'm thankful that they're starting to have teenage lives, because they didn't have that for a few years. So I'm
especially
happy
your kids, and like all of mine are much older. We didn't go through COVID with them as youngsters and teenagers going to school like that. I cannot imagine what everyone's listening to you and your family. Can't imagine what you went through. And now at least some semblance of normalcy again has to be a godsend, really.
Well, and I think about like you and your career, all the different sports that you do. It's just not the Red Sox. I mean, for you, going from a guy that's been doing this for so long to like, now I'm putting you in a studio, you're not at the game.
Yeah.
What has it meant for you in your career to get back out for all the different events?
It's incredible. It reminded me of why I got into business to begin with, because the first time you put on these headsets that you and I are wearing right now here at the Coliseum, when you're a young announcer and you hear the roar of the crowd, that's why you do it. You really do. That electrifying sound of the roar of the crowd. That's why I wanted to become a sports announcer. And you don't get that when you're doing games in studio. You hear that muffled sound coming from maybe 2,000 miles away, piped into your headset. It's not the same as the feeling of immediacy, the momentum that's actually palpable that comes through that headset. I miss that so much, and it's so great to be back doing games live.
I got to think about the pressure that's going to be put on this Red Sox team, and a lot of it is because what's happening across the bay with the Celtics coming on, being NBA Finals, huge win last night. Sorry, Warrior fans. We're now doing this, by the way, just not as this what we've been doing streaming. We're now on Twitter. We're now on YouTube. So they not only hear us, they can now see us.
Wonderful.
As we're growing this thing that we like to call A's Cast Live. And, across the bay last night, a huge upset win for the Celtics. I know Chaim Bloom, what he did in Tampa, and you think about someone like Mookie Betts leaving, who's an absolute star. Bogarts, we're going to talk about that and everything. But how important is it for the Red Sox to play the big boy in baseball and be a big market team and get the Celtics doing what they're doing?
Yeah, it's very real. And those franchises, and I know you have a sense of this, but they really do push each other in a very real way. Like the Patriots push everybody. They push the Red Sox. The Red Sox push the Celtics. Celtics push the Bruins. And when you think about all the championships that our region has been so lucky enough to be a part of all the parades we've had downtown Boston on the Charles River over the years, and now there might be another one. But I think that's very real, that there is a friendly, competitive edge that each of them pushes on the other one. That's going on right now with the Celtics and everybody else, because that's such a darn good basketball team. By the way, I'm watching the game, and I'm thinking going into the fourth quarter, the game's over.
Yeah.
It is over. They're
Yeah.
not going to – I mean, Steph will probably go off for another 21 points. The Celtics could not miss. And so that sets up a fascinating series, the rest of this thing. Now it's must-see TV. If it wasn't before, it certainly is now. I know it is here and in Boston. I'm talking about for the rest of the country now. I think they're really going to get into this series.
And you got two big market teams. You got a lot of household names. A lot of the Celtics people are going to be here tonight with you guys in town, so it should be a lot of fun. And with Tom Brady, you know, for my years seeing Tom as I worked for the Raiders and the greatness that was Tom Brady, and now that he's left, the Patriots aren't the same. So the Red Sox have always been number one in Boston, even when Larry Bird was there. I mean, even Bill Russell back in the day. I know Orr and the Bruins. Is it back to Red Sox are king and everybody's a little bit below? Where are we in the hierarchy in Boston sports?
You know, now I think, Chris, it's like whoever has the chance to win the next championship sort of ascends to the top of that poll. And right now that's certainly the Celtics. But that wasn't anticipated when the season got underway because of Brad Stevenson leaving the sideline, going upstairs. Yeah. They didn't get off to a good start. But now they're the kings of the hill, and they're certainly the most popular franchise. But, you know, their season's either going to end with a championship or they're going to lose to the Warriors. It's still going to be perceived as a magical year. Then it's going to be right in the middle of summer, and the only game in town is going to be the Red Sox. And there's going to be 37,000 fans a game there. This club has to be performing at a really high level if it wants to take that baton and move on and pass that, hopefully, to the Patriots in the fall. But we don't know. I mean, May was a better month, certainly, than April for the Red Sox. They went 14-14 in May, but this team got off to a horrible start. Right now, they're leading the American League in runs scored. They couldn't score at all in April. Yeah. So it's really the damage has been done with Trevor Story getting going. He had 32 RBIs in 1 month. And Xander Bogaerts, Rafi Devers, who's really turned into a true superstar. He's a monster at the plate. Obviously, J.D. Martinez is having a great year, hitting 360s, leading the American League in hitting. So a lot of things have come together. But initially, April was a dark month, and everyone was really looking forward to the NBA playoffs. I think now the Red Sox are beginning to gain some momentum. Didn't finish this last homestand very well, but this is a big road trip starting tonight for them.
I was worried for Story. I've interviewed him before. People that I know him, say he's a really good guy. When all of a sudden the comparisons, because of the contract to Carl Crawford, I went, that's not good. So I was glad to see him start hitting. But the one thing that I look at your guys' club, and I see it all in baseball, and I know I sound like old man River about starting pitching and innings pitched. When you got 8,000 guys down there in the bullpen, it takes only one a night to screw it up for you when you're relying on so many guys. And if I look at the one issue, just looking at you guys from afar, I'd say the big problem has been bullpen.
Yeah, it sure has, and not having a closer. And I think the idea coming in was Matt Barnes, who had been an all-star first half of last year, really faded in the second half of last year for whatever reason, had a bad second half. The hope was he could regroup and take that job back. That hasn't happened. He's injured now. Strom really is the guy that is probably the most reliable guy for us at the back end. Diekman has been in and out when he's been good. He's been spectacular. When he's been bad, he's been bad. And I think A's fans can relate to seeing some of that. But I think he's a guy that if he gets rolling, he'll strike out Stanton, Judge, and LeMahieu in New York on a Sunday night in order, and he's throwing 97, and you're like, well, that's the guy. But we really don't have a closer on this team, and it's a team with a north of $200 million payroll that doesn't have that stud locking up games, and that's a bit of a head scratcher. So that's a huge topic back in Boston.
Well, I'll tell you this, as a former bad college pitcher, I look at Evaldi going tonight, what I would have given to have 100 miles an hour, 98 miles an hour. I would have given everything to have that. How's he giving up so many home runs? That's like mind-blowing.
He's allowed 16 home runs, which is the most in the major leagues. He gave up 15 all of last year. He did not allow a home run last year until the 22nd of May. He gave up 2 on opening day. That was more than he had allowed in the first 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of the season. So it's been a head-scratcher. That's another one that's been unusual. We've had a bunch of those. Like, how did that happen? How did we lose 5 games by walk-offs in the month of April? You just don't do that.
Yeah.
A really good club, that doesn't happen to. And yet the Red Sox are a good team. They're going to score a ton of runs. Nate Eovaldi's a heck of a – Nick Pivetta has been phenomenal for us. The starting pitching's actually been pretty darn good. It all in the end comes back to you better lock up those games when you're up 5-3 in the 7th inning. We have not been able to do that enough, and that's why we got in this 11.5 game hole to the Yankees.
Well, yeah, and it's all around baseball too. Look, Joe Girardi lost his job today. I mean, I know their defense wasn't great, but whether it was Gabe Kapler, who now is with the Giants, he'll tell you. I mean, their biggest problem was bullpen. So, I know there's been years. We had that one year where Blake Trinan had one of the greatest. You had a Dennis Eckersley year, right?
Yeah.
And Lou Trevino, and the whole bullpen was great. And we were coming out of the spring training next year going, that's our strength. Yeah. And then they were terrible. So it's like year to year.
It is.
It's so hard to build it, and who's going to be good, who's not. And I don't know give you any rhyme or reason why that is.
Yep, and that's exactly what's happened with our bullpen this season. And what they're trying to figure out is 7, 8, 9. And we've got a young stud who we had to move into the rotation by the name of Garrett Whitlock, who, if he stayed in the bullpen all season, he'd be an all-star. He's a good starting pitcher. And you always like your best arms. And he throws 97. He's got a nasty changeup. He's a terrific young pitcher. But if he stayed in the bullpen, that would have been one thing, maybe even closing out games. We've been forced to use him in a rotation. Chris Sale is not here. Eventually he will be. We've had some holes in the rotation that have needed to be filled. And so we've had to go that way. But I think come the second half, you'll see the Red Sox with one of those 17 wins in 20 games kind of stretches. I do. But got to get that bullpen squared away. And that means they're active. They're looking for other guys. They're looking for arms who can help us late in games.
I think of Betts in L.A., and I still just shake my head. Like, it's not like he was leaving the Kansas City Royals or the Miami Marlins. Heck, the Oakland A's, let's be honest. And you get a guy like that who could have a plaque in Cooperstown someday, and Red Sox fans will never forget that. I now think of Bogarts, who really – not only kind of face the franchise kind of guy, but community guy, right? He's really involved in the community.
Best guy in the world.
Like, how are you not signing him up? I know it's a tough question.
It is. He's 30 years old. Tonight, he breaks the franchise record for most starts at shortstop in Red Sox history. Tonight, he does that. So this is a momentous occasion for Xander. The ultimate stand-up guy, great in the community, great in the clubhouse. The kind of guy everyone looks at as the captain of the team, even though the Red Sox don't give out the C for the captain. It's a discussion they had. They offered him one more year. He was offended by that. That was $30 million, but it was one more year instead of 4 years. He wants to finish his career with the Red Sox. His age, I think, is probably part of that equation. If it's me, Dave O'Brien, who's called every game he's played in, give me the checkbook. I'm signing him up for whatever he wants because he's all of those things, and he should finish his career with the Red Sox. But I also see the business side of it because the guy next to him, Rafael Devers, is an astonishing offensive force. Hits for power, drives and runs. He leads the majors in hits right now, but he has more hard hit balls than anybody in the game, and that's true. He hits the ball harder than Vladimir Guerrero, Giancarlo Stanton, anyone you want to mention. So you've got to sign him up. You just spent $140 million on Story. Now you're saying we need a closer. We need to go probably pay for a closer at some point. That's a lot of money. I mean, the bank account's big in Boston. It's a huge budget, well over $200 million. But that doesn't mean there isn't an end point, too. So I got a funny feeling it's going to get done with Xander, especially if he continues to have the year he's having. But right now they're not talking contract.
Well, I can tell you up on the North Shore in Massachusetts, the Townsend family, you might have heard of Townsend Oil.
Sure have.
That's my family. They're all season ticket holders.
So you're loaded, Chris. You're filthy rich.
Okay, so they're really, really rich. My grandfather was the oldest, came out to fight in World War II, and came back to San Diego from after World War II in the Pacific and said, I'm never going back to Boston again. And he became a fisherman. So they kept all the oil money, and we had to grow up in the tough world of San Diego, California.
So sad for you. That must have been really difficult.
Fish tacos, flip-flops, and sunburns. I had it rough.
Waking up every morning and it's 75 and it won't get any hotter. Too bad for you. No, you never touched a shovel your whole life, a snow shovel.
Surfing's not easy. So you guys think it's easy. It's not easy.
Waxing that board is tough work.
But the family will tell you they want that checkbook for the players.
Yes.
Because they remind me all the time they have the highest season tickets in all of baseball.
They certainly do. The Red Sox do, and people pay a lot of money to go to the games, and it's work to go to a game at Fenway Park. Finding parking, or as we say, parking, is not easy to do, and it's very expensive. Everything you eat in the ballpark or purchase is incredibly expensive. It's a commitment beyond just being a regular fan. It's part of not just your summer, hopefully your fall too, but it's part of your life. It's part of the fabric of your life. Going to Red Sox games, following the Red Sox on radio, on TV, it's really special. And that's one of the reasons the Red Sox are able to charge the prices that they do.
Well, you're in a Pakia Ka and Harvard Yard, right?
Pakia Ka and Harvard Yard, and you'll go to the Packy and get me a 6-pack, and it's a great place to live. It's a very demanding place to live, and this is true of all the franchises. That's one of the reasons it fuels the success of these teams.
No doubt about it. Well, congratulations with everything with the kids. It's going to be some big moments for you coming up here.
Some big checks, I thought you were going to say. Yeah, there's no question. We got some big moments coming up, and a lot of wonderful, wonderful times to come, and some of them right here in California.
Now, you've had an unbelievable career, and you've had a lot of big moments, but when you got to stand up at those 2 weddings and give the speech, tears flowing, how do you think that's going to work?
Oh, it's going to be rough. Those are my girls now, my daughters. So, my daughter, Sammy, is the one that our family says is, and this is good or bad, I don't know how you look at it, the most like dad. So she's known that since she was, knee high to me, that everyone compares her to her father, but it's fine. And she went into broadcasting too.
Pac-12 Network.
Works for the Pac-12 Network, and she's going to be here tonight. And you betcha it's going to be a very, very emotional time. No question.
Well, we always appreciate you coming on, but it's great to see and finally meet you face to face.
You too, Chris. A pleasure,
What
man.
you've done for us here, I truly appreciate it.
Anytime you guys need me, I'm here, and I'm glad to come and bore you to death, talk about the Red Sox. So.
And have a great call tonight.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
We got more coming up next right here on A's Cast Live.
The Coliseum has gone by many names, but none better than the Last Dive Bar. Hi, everyone. Ken Korak here, and my friends at Last Dive Bar are helping us celebrate our longtime home. Last Dive Bar has the most unique merchandise for all Oakland baseball fans. T-shirts, sweatshirts, the Ray Fosse line, and my personal favorite, the lights have taken full effect. Visit their website at lastdivebar.com or follow them on social media at Last Dive Bar. All proceeds are invested back into the A's Community Fund and their affiliated charities. Go to lastdivebar.com. That's lastdivebar.com.
Hitting the road with the family. On your way to nonstop adventures. No worries ahead, because you can stop at a Chevron station along the way. Get fuel for your car, fuel for your crew. That's Chevron with Techron for unbeatable mileage and snacks for all. Coffee for mom, chips for the kids, cold drinks for dad. For the road ahead. Toss in some laughs, out-of-tune singing, and a zillion "Are we there yet?" And you just made lifelong family memories. Chevron, together ahead.
August 6th is International Trading Card Day, and Topps wants to celebrate with you. Visit your participating local hobby shop, where you will receive a free pack of cards, plus a special card if you purchase $10 or more of Topps products, while supplies last. Post your packs on social media using the hashtag ToppsITCD, and follow along with @Topps. Visit Topps.com for more information. Hey A's fans, we've got a great deal for you. Get 4 tickets and parking for all Friday night games starting at just $39. Pick from great matchups, post-game fireworks and drone shows, giveaways, and more.
Outside corner, ring him up. And Eaton can't believe it.
Grab the crew and head to the Coliseum with friends and family any Friday night this season. 4 tickets and parking starting at just $39 for the whole group. Tickets are available at athletics.com. That's athletics.com.
Some things just go together. Peanut butter and jelly, cookies and milk, Oakland and Kaiser Permanente. If that last one caught you off guard, it shouldn't, because Kaiser Permanente has been helping keep Oakland healthy since our very beginning. And as the official healthcare partner of the Oakland A's, that won't be changing anytime soon. Whatever you may need, you can trust Kaiser Permanente to help keep you feeling your best. Kaiser Permanente. Thrive. Visit kp.org today.
Coming in at 5'3", it's number one mom. She switched to Xfinity and got the all-new 3-for-1 bundle. Unlimited internet, streaming, and Xfinity Mobile. All for what you could pay wireless companies for just one 5G unlimited line. Boom shakalaka. Go to Xfinity.com/3-for-1, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity internet. After 24 months, regular rates apply to all services and devices.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
Fireworks are returning to the Coliseum on Friday, June 3rd after the A's host the Boston Red Sox. Don't miss your chance to see Game 1 of the A's-Red Sox series and the best fireworks display in the Bay. Presented by UBO Business Services. Tickets are available at athletics.com.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
Hey A's fans, we've got a great deal for you. Get 4 tickets and parking for all Friday night games starting at just $39. Pick from great matchups, post-game fireworks and drone shows, giveaways, and more.
Outside corner, ring him up. And Eaton can't believe it.
Grab the crew and head to the Coliseum with friends and family any Friday night this season. 4 tickets and parking starting at just $39 for the whole group. Tickets are available at athletics.com. That's athletics.com.
Become an A's insider today. Visit athletics.com/newsletter and sign up to receive the latest video highlights, up-to-date news, features, and more. All delivered free to your inbox, wherever you are. That's athletics.com/newsletter.
Streaming from the East Bay, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
Kind of, we used to joke on this show that Chaim Bloom, CBO, Chief Baseball Officer?
Yeah, Chief Baseball Officer of the Sox. They have a GM.
But he's the chief base. Of course, he's the guy that ran the Rays, but then got the job with the Red Sox. By the way, if he was in San Francisco, or at least in the school district, he couldn't be chief baseball officer.
That's correct.
They'd have to change his title.
Yeah, I don't know what would you put it? Because he's not the GM. So VP of baseball operations?
How about just president of baseball operations? I don't know. Whatever. The fact that they are operating the Red Sox like they're the Rays is kind of fascinating. We joked about it, right? But now when you really look at it, here you got a team. Think about this. You got a team that wants to operate like the Oakland Athletics when the A's are doing well. I mean, obviously what we're seeing now is a different deal. But when the A's are having great success, it's the same way the Rays operate. I mean, listen to what Dave had to say. Bogaerts is a face of the franchise player. He is not only what he does for the ball club, he's very big in the community. New England has embraced him. Remember, when you're dealing with the Red Sox, you're just not dealing with Boston, right? This is just not a one-town team. This is a region, right? It's New England. And this guy is beloved in New England. What did Dave say the age?
30.
Okay, this is something I'm gonna be totally honest. Got to play a little golf yesterday. Ken Korak, Vince Cotroneo, and Shooty Babbitt. And one thing we kind of talked about, and I said to Shooty, the great scout, and I said it, no one responded really. I said this, what drives me nuts is that we sit here and talk about protecting a bunch of 20-year-olds. And all we want to do is protect guys. They can't go innings. They can't play that many games. Guys need days out. All we want to do is protect guys in their 20s. And then once they get in their 30s, we want nothing to do with them. We don't want to sign them long term. So it's like I'm scratching my head. Now, wait a minute. You don't want to overuse them in their 20s, and then you don't want to commit to them in their 30s. What the hell are we doing in this sport? It makes no sense. You're going to tell me, great example, like take Cole Irvin on Wednesday against Verlander. Cole Irvin could have gone longer, and you could hear someone say, "Oh, Chris, but he was just recently on the IL for shoulder tendonitis." No, wait a minute. We talked to Cole, and he'll be here. We talked to Cole. He did the rehab start in Vegas, which he didn't think he needed. He had the start before. He's gone through all the strength tests, inflammatories, done all. He's fine. What are we saving him for? It's like once guys get in their 30s, it's now taboo. It's like, oh, my God, the guy's 31. He's 32. We act like Elvis literally is 40. Oh, my God, Elvis. How much do we talk about how old Elvis? Elvis is what, 32?
33. We're the same age.
Did he just turn 33?
Well, like end of last season, I believe.
We act like he's 42 years old. He's 33 years old.
Yeah.
So do you get my point? We act like these guys in their 20s are precious China dolls that we have to protect them. But then they get in their 30s and we don't want it. They're too old and we don't want to make commitments. So when can we use these players? We should, and next time we talk to David Force, we should talk. You know what? You know what you should do in baseball? Since it's becoming very clear, most teams don't want to commit long-term to anybody. You need to start treating everybody like they're running backs in the NFL.
Oh.
How do they treat running backs in the NFL? 5-year window. I'm going to have a guy for 5 years, and I'm going to run his ass into the ground, and after 5 years, I'm getting rid of him. Right?
Yes. Well, and that's you're talking about the great ones, too, they do that with.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a middle of the road guy.
I got him for 5 years. And then after 5 years, I'm gonna move on. I mean, that's what I would do. And I was just talking about the guy who's now to my left, and you can now see him on YouTube, and you can see him on Twitter. He's the lefty Cole Irvin here on A's Cast Live. How are you?
Great. What's up, A's fans? Live on YouTube.
You like how we're stepping our game up?
I love this.
We're multimedia just for you.
I love this because now they're going to see me dance while we're on YouTube and the music's going on behind me. You know, it's a lot of ugly things that are going to happen now.
But you were trying to get clicks, so keep doing whatever you're doing. We have a problem with you, and I hate to say it. And I don't want to start out negative. Because, I want to be positive.
As long as we end with a positive, we'll be all right.
But we have a major negative, kind of a bone to pick with you.
Okay, all right.
You're only the 12th fastest pitcher in baseball. You're not top 10.
Well, it's these dang hitters that take their time in their batting routines that I think is the problem. I don't think it's me because I'm standing there ready.
When I saw Shane Bieber was number one, and it wasn't you.
He works fast. He's been working fast since college.
But you're Johnny Fast. I thought you'd at least be top 5.
My counter, I think, has to be with runners on first, and I hold. I vary my holds. I vary my speed and timing because the runner's right in front of me. So I think that's kind of where my
right-hander's just going. He didn't hold it. Do right-hand pitchers even hold people anymore?
I don't even know. I don't think so.
I don't think they pay attention.
I don't think so. With our catchers, there's no reason to. We got arms behind the plate. So, with Betancourt and Murph, they're going to throw guys out no matter how fast you
got to kind of, with Betancourt back there, you got to watch your lips with that ball coming back fast. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. He takes great BP too, on top of not only having a great throwing arm, but 100%. We got two of the best arms in the league, behind the dish. So base runners it's going to be interesting to see how many guys steal on us this year.
When the notes came out that StatCast had this pitch tempo deal, I immediately thought of you, and I thought, I love this. Now we're going to really know who's a sloth out there and who are the guys that when you pitch fast, your defense loves it. We were talking to Kevin Smith about that, going, you're on, hey, ball's coming, you got to be ready. You're ready to play versus sitting there And we actually did a timer on like what 30 seconds is like, just to sit here for 30 seconds and wait. I mean, it's a really long time.
Long time.
You're such a better pitcher. The way you get into a groove, you're in a groove, everybody else is in a groove, working quick. And I'm glad and aren't you glad as someone that means a lot to your game that we're now actually going to look at it and talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that definitely needs to be talked about. That there's one thing about having a routine, and then there's another thing about working at a pace that actually gets you going and gets you get comfortable and you get into a rhythm, and the game works actually faster in your favor. And you saw it the other day. I mean, Verlander works, at a regular rate and, works pretty quick. And I mean, he was throwing well, he got into a groove, and then I was working quick as well. I mean, I had a runner on first most of the time, but I mean, even then with no runners on, still working quick. And we, got through that ball game 2.5 hours or something like that. And so, it just goes to show that if you are working quick and working at a good tempo, the games are going to speed up. They will. They just happen naturally. But I mean, it's on the guys holding the ball first, and I take a look in the mirror at that. So if I'm not working quick, there's got to be something going on or something I'm thinking about, because that's part of my game. That's how I pitch consistently.
When you go up against a lineup like the Astros, where they really are one of the few lineups in baseball that can beat you every single way. They got the power, they got the contact hitters. What's it like preparing for them and getting ready for a ball club and then going out and implementing that plan?
I mean, not just the Astros. I mean, the rest of the league. I mean, it's Major League Baseball. You got to prepare for teams to be able to put damage numbers on you. And the Astros have a lot of depth and damage. So, it's trying to limit that, trying to make good pitches early. And, there's a lot of, I would say amongst just all teams, like you can't take, the bottom part of the lineup for granted, because they can do damage.
Yeah.
And, we're in the major leagues. So, being able to prepare, knowing who can put more damage on you, know who puts a little less, know what guys put in play, what pitches they like or what they're seeing well right now. All that stuff is a factor in terms of game planning. And, I like looking at the stats that I look at is their last 10 at-bats and their last 30 at-bats against left-handed pitchers. What are they doing? What are they seeing? And, the averages can flip a lineup. Guys in the 3-4 hole could actually be not doing as much damage at that time as the 7-8 guys. So now you got to be a little bit more careful with the guys that are seeing the ball well at the bottom of the lineup. So, I mean, there's a constant balance all year about, who's hot, who's not. And that's what's fun about this game and pitching. And but, the Astros, I mean, they just got a great lineup up and down, whether or not you believe whatever they did. I mean, that's a different time. And now they're like the rest of us. And, they still have the bats to do damage, and you have to be able to manage it in the best way you can and limiting, solid contact. And I think that's what I do well is I pitch to miss barrels, and I don't necessarily pitch to miss bats.
I can tell you where I sit right up here in the press box, and all of a sudden they come and take you out. All of a sudden my papers are flying all over. I'm like, why? Why? Keep him in there. I mean, it drives me nuts. You don't necessarily have to comment on this now that I think about it, but it drives me nuts because there's a problem to me when you're going to use 4, 5, 6 relievers. It takes one guy to have an off night for that whole thing to fail. Yeah. And I got a guy like you. It's like, this is what bugs me. I don't know if I can ask you this without either of us get in trouble. Does it bug you that around the league that they feel if you give up 1 or 2 runs and it's the third time through the order that, oh, God, we got to make changes? Why can't we work through stuff like pitchers used to?
You're preaching to the choir on my end on that. There's a lot of times where I feel like, a good example the other day, I come out of the game 5 2/3 and, I'm an out and away from a quality start. In my mind, I love quality starts. I love being able to give the team a chance to win. I want that ball. And I was kind of soft in showing Kotsay that I wanted to stay in there. I should have tried a little bit harder.
What do you say to him?
I kind of waved him off on the mound, but he didn't see me wave him off. And so maybe next time I just try to tell him when he comes out to the mound, but he already called for an arm. So I didn't really try all that hard. I'll be honest.
If he's already
his head was down when I was like doing like one of these, like, no, stay in there. Like, I don't want him to come out. And like,
yeah, you're kind of
more
done.
so. Yeah, it was more so like fun on my part. I was like, I wanted it, but I knew he was looking down and he wasn't going to give it to me. So I was like, all right, I mean, I'll take it. So, you know, again, sometimes decisions need to be made, and we're in a one-run ball game there. Verlander's throwing well. We don't know how that game's going to shape out. I think all in all, you know, that's a good decision. You know, you got to think about situations, and you know, the bottom of their lineup was hitting me a little bit more than the top of the lineup. So, but yeah, I mean, the biggest thing about pitching right now, and I'm noticing is that third time through. A lot of teams aren't letting starters go through that third time through
at all.
And what's interesting on my end, being a pitcher and pitching to contact, I'm going to see that third time through. But you got to prove that you can do it. You got to prove that you can make pitches and pitch guys 3 different times, you know, 3 different ways in a game. And so that to me is pitching, is being able to show guys different things. I think one of the at-bats that stood out the most to me was Alvarez in my last start, is facing him 3 times, you know, solid bat. You know, his second at bat, I threw him too many sliders. And then that last time I broke his barrel, you know, on the fastball in. And so in that first at bat, I was pounding him in too. So, I mean, I kind of got off my game plan in that second at bat, but I went back to it, and it showed up to be a good thing. You know, got out of that, you know, 5th inning and was able to be in there for the 6th. So I think those small things kind of go a long way when you're still learning to pitch at this level, and showing that you can prove to, you know, pitch through 3 times through the order and stuff. And so pitching isn't easy. You know, hitters make those adjustments, and as a pitcher, you got to as well, and you got to be ahead of it.
You know, one thing that when you look at starting pitchers, like, you pitch and then the world forgets about you for a few days, right? It's like, now we don't, because we see all the stuff that you do. But just tell the audience how much work, the volume of work you guys will do. Doesn't have to be all physical. A lot can be mental, too, with watching the video and watching things. And as you said, gearing up, looking at the last 10 games or how many games. Or just talk about what you do in between starts.
Yeah, I mean, between starts, for me, it's a little bit simpler. You know, today I do a long run, got a lower body lift, and then tomorrow I got a bullpen. And my last bullpen, I threw it like 65%. I don't think I had a fastball over 70 miles an hour in my bullpen. But what I was trying to do was trying to throw fastballs, you know, on both sides of the plate. I was splitting the plate, nothing in the middle. I didn't throw anything in the middle. It was trying to hit the corners and trying to hit all quadrants of the corners. So, you know, up, middle, and down. And so, you know, bullpens are intentional. You know, tomorrow I'm probably going to be working on a little bit more slider cutter action, just to tunnel those a little bit better. You know, and that's kind of the in between there. And then, you know, we got 2 days up until Atlanta. I will go into the yard on the off day to get some work in, get a little light lift and stuff. So, I mean, we're lifting, we're working out. As a starter, it's four days a week that we're lifting and running, and then we get our start day. And then even after our start day, we're riding the bike for 20, 25 minutes after the start. So we work hard. You know, the programs here is kind of tailored to whatever you need, and they learn you as you go. And they help you as much as they can. And it's just a great support staff here, just that helps us every day.
You know, I think about golf, and I think about how that works for like what you guys do. So if you're going to play golf that day and you go out to the range, you're working on what you do well, because that's what you got to play with. On a day where you're not playing, you're just going to the range, you can switch grips. You can do all kinds. I can try and hit a cut. I can hit a fade. I can try and draw it. I can try and do all. So for you, when you talk about your bullpen like tomorrow, will you concentrate more on refining what you do well, or trying to fix what you want to make better?
Start to start. It's start to start for me. Because like if I come off a game where I was throwing bad sliders, I want to throw more sliders in the bullpen and just get that feel back of what a good slider feels like at the tips of my fingers. Some guys throw the same routine every time. everyone's different. And so to me, I kind of tailor it to kind of what I've been doing well, what I haven't been. So I kind of balance it the best way I can. But the other day, sometimes you just need to relax. You kind of need a lighter day. So I just did fastballs only and didn't try to overwork myself through 25 pitches, but still wanted to get something out of it. And it was all about command at the end of my release point and just trying to feel it out front. And so again, like kind of similar to golf, like there's that refining point that we do, but with where we're at, sometimes you got to think about the lineups coming up. Sometimes there's a lot of things that kind of go into a bullpen day. And I definitely think about it. There's some days where I'm going to wear a jersey. There's some days where I'm not. Like depends on the day. It depends on how I've been going, what the rhythm's like. There's a lot of thought that goes into it. And as I say it, I'm definitely in my own head about it for sure.
Now I'm going to be watching tomorrow. I'm going to be up in the press ball. Is he wearing a jersey today? What is he doing?
I started talking about it and I went, oh my gosh, I overthink my bullpens way too much. I need to relax a little bit more.
That's what we do here on A's Cast Live. We get the real of what's going on. How much, whether it's you, because you guys all talk a lot, you guys are a great support system for each other. How much do you guys got to make sure in a game of failure you don't get too down on yourself?
We fail every day. I mean, a ball in our total pitches category is a failure. Sometimes it's a successful failure if we're trying to throw balls. I mean, earlier in the year, I was trying to throw a little bit more balls because I was in the zone too much. So there's times where, I think a good example is, when we get hit around a little bit, I think the starters are really good at coming in and supporting each other about like what we're seeing from the sidelines and what we're seeing from the dugout. Hey, you're rushing a little bit too far down the plate, or hey, I think you should have gone fastball here with that, location. And the next time they face that hitter, they execute it. And, with Frankie, I know we tell him a lot to throw his splitter. And it's not a knock on him. He gets into the rhythm of the game like all of us. They tell me the same thing on my changeup. We just want to get on it. We want to throw it hard. And again, it's just player to player. It's a different guy. Cap tonight, we'll probably tell him something. And we're just honest with each other in the moment because we'd rather know now than know after the game when we could have made the adjustment. And so that's the biggest thing, I think. From the starters core, that's what we talk about. We're in each other's ear daily about stuff. Even just on catch play sessions, we're watching each other. Are we taking it seriously? Or are we out front? There's a lot of things that we take care of and we make sure that we don't get lazy.
I always thought like Mariano Rivera, like, what does he do in bullpens? He just throws the same pitch over and over again.
It's a good question.
Like, why do they ever even put down sides? Like anyone's like,
everyone knows what's coming.
I mean, were they going to trick you one time with a pitch that wasn't a cutter? He threw it every single pitch.
Oh, I think I told Danny the other day. I forget who we were facing, but I think everyone in the ballpark knew he was throwing a curveball. I think it was to Nathaniel Lowe or something like that. And I think everyone knew except for him. Except for Lowe, and he struck out on a curveball, and it was just like, that's his best pitch. It's like, I think there's a lot of guys in the league that you know what he's going to throw.
I just, but some of these guys, when your stuff's that good, you could be out there and be like, hey, I'm throwing that. Like when Frankie's got his split going, it's like he could tell you, I'm throwing it. What are you going to do about it?
It's aggravating. As a guy that throws 90 miles an hour, it's aggravating watching 98 and then a 90 mile an hour splitter. And I'm just like, that's just not fair.
Well, think about it. If like Evaldi has given up 16 home runs. Can you imagine if you had 100 mile an hour fastball to go with your stuff?
No, I feel like I'd be in the training room a heck of a lot more. I don't like being in there.
You'd have no hitters if you had a hundo. If you had a hundo.
Yeah, probably, maybe. I had 98 out of the bullpen.
Did you really?
In Philadelphia, yeah.
God, how good was that?
That was the coolest feeling ever. It was in Cleveland, actually. Was when I did it.
Was that a juice gun or was
no? It was. I mean, it was clean. It was clean. It was a clean 98. It was 98.2. So I mean, I got a 0.2 on there.
Where'd it go?
I have to start. I have to save energy.
So
so I was surprised that a lot of people don't know this, but I'll just share it. A lot of us starters pitch at like 90, 95%.
Of course, because you'd be burnt by the third, fourth inning. Yeah.
Right. Frankie, I think, is almost max effort, except for on a splitter, and we have to tell him that. But I think for the most part, we just try to conserve our energy because we're trying to get deep in that ball game. And a lot of people, when I'm giving lessons in the off season, ask like, why aren't you trying to like train him to throw harder? Well, I was like, because I want them to throw accurately first. I said, when your body develops and gets stronger, that's when the velo comes. And velo is just such an interesting thing to me. There's so many different ways to kind of teach it with drive line and all that.
Well, I'll tell you this, every broadcast, I got to do a farm report. So I'm always looking at our minor league teams. Oh, we're training them to throw all out in starts because they're only going 3 innings.
Yeah. But like, that's the thing is like, now you're not teaching how to like manage a lineup going, 2-3 times through in order. And like, I think for me, the minor league schedule being only 6 games and having 6 starters kind of hurts learning how to pitch to a team twice in the same week. I'm not sure what we do on the minor league side, but I mean, at least when I was in AAA, AA, like being on that 5-man rotation, man, and we faced the same team in a week, knowing that I had them twice, I had to learn a lot about how to throw a team 6 different ways and do it 3 times in the night. And that to me is what makes pitching so fun, is like, there's so many different ways right now that you can go about coaching. The baseball is a really fun time right now where you can teach velo or you can teach command. You can kind of do it all right now, and both are going to work and get you to the pinnacle of the game. But all in all, like back to my original statement, is like 95% effort out of starters. And then we have that in our bag to be able to throw 95, 96. And I've showed it in a few starts this year where, I've gotten up to 95, and that's when I'm trying to empty the tank.
Well, you're not going to have to worry by the time you retire. Starters will only go twice a month. They'll get, we're going to have 7-8 man staffs. What do you think about 12 starts a year will be good?
Golly,
12 starts with that.
Yeah.
Chasing records of the 12 start a year record.
Oh man. There are some areas I hope baseball doesn't go down.
20-man bullpens.
Yeah. The pitch clock is one thing that I hope that we don't get too happy with, because I feel like a routine is good in an at bat. A routine is good when you're on the mound. Foul balls happen. That's when you take your time to reset. And if you got to be on the mound to be ready to throw a pitch, to me, that like I was watching when I was in Stockton, watching that pitch clock, man, it's just so fast. It's so fast that you actually can't think and you just react. And I feel like learning the game is very hard to do when you're trying to go hyper speed in baseball. And so, but again, it's cutting down time in games. So
by a lot.
It is. And the numbers are crazy, but there's still a level of understanding and learning the game that I feel like needs to be had at those levels. And if you're running through a game as fast as you can, what are you learning from the game? How are you breaking that down? How is it affecting, a growth of a player, especially young players at that level? So it's interesting. I have a lot of thoughts on that. We could probably talk about that at a different time.
We got all the time in the world. No, they're going to wrap me up here. Quickly, you know what? You guys have been better on the road than at home. It's bottom line. You're going to finish this series, go back on the road. Is that something that in the back of your guys' mind that you understand, that sometimes, hey, let's get on the plane, let's go. It's better for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say this year because, we're in here every day grinding and really trying to win games at home. But I think our bats, in opposing ballparks kind of show up a little bit more. And that's just plain and simple. I think pitching's going to stay the same. It doesn't matter where we go. Pitching's going to stay the same. I think just offensively, a few the balls that we hit here go out in other ballparks, and maybe I think that's all it is. And so, it could be kind of a thing to think about, but at the end of the day, we're trying to win at home just as much as we're trying to win on the road. So I don't really have an answer. I think we're always ready to play. We don't care who's in the other uniform, and we want to win ball games, and we don't like losing. I'll tell you that. the loss the other day, just hurt a little bit. And I'm glad we had the off day to kind of reflect and kind of reset. And there's a lot of good energy today in the locker room. So hopefully we can carry this into a series win against a good Red Sox team.
All right, so let's just end with this. As long as pitch tempo, you're top 15.
Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah,
Okay,
top
top
15. Try to get top 10, but I know that with holding runners at first as a left-handed pitcher, it's going to –
If you were right-handed, where would you be?
I'm pretty sure I'd be at the top. I'd be curious to see who the righties and lefties – like if there is a discrepancy between –
You think my crack staff would be able to come up with this information?
Yeah, especially
how
when
many lefties are in the top 10? Are we sliding him? Is that not – I didn't even think about that.
No, remember, I set this to minimum 250 pitches because they have Wade Miley in there who hasn't thrown that many pitches yet this year. He said like 11 seconds with nobody on base, but he's only pitched in certain – so I set it to 250.
But what if Cole is your 12, but all 11 guys are right-handers in front of you?
Right.
Then that's not fair.
Yeah, exactly.
That's called that's analytics that are crap.
Hold on, I'm holding up.
Then they technically then they should have a righty versus lefty.
Could. Yeah, you
like
could.
A left column, righty column.
Yeah, 100%.
Because
All right, minimum 250 pitches. Shane Bieber, righty. Aaron Ashby, he's from the Brewers. I think he's a lefty. Steven Matz, lefty. Alex Wood, lefty.
Okay.
Logan Webb,
wow,
righty.
a lot of lefties up there.
Mike
ready to speed things up.
The next lefty after would be Nasty Nestor.
Nasty
Drew Smiley, David Peterson, also lefty.
Gosh.
Then you, and then Sean Manaea.
Wait, David Peterson, then me?
Yes.
Yeah, go Ducks.
Oh.
And then Manaea is after you. So you're ahead of Sean.
Yeah. Sean, totally. Beat you. Got him. Got him in one category.
It's not too long from now that we will not talk baseball and we will talk Pac-12 football.
Hey, we're
not that far. We're summertime. Before you know it, we're going to hit August, and it's going to be let's get her going.
Yeah, college baseball right now going on. I think the Ducks are on right now, so I got to go in and start watching.
Thank you very much. Awesome stuff.
Always fun having me on. So it was a great time. Thank you for having me.
It's the Mark Kotsay Show next right here on A's Cast Live.
The Coliseum has gone by many names, but none better than the Last Dive Bar. Hi, everyone. Ken Korak here, and my friends at Last Dive Bar are helping us celebrate our longtime home. Last Dive Bar has the most unique merchandise for all Oakland baseball fans. T-shirts, sweatshirts, the Ray Fosse line, and my personal favorite, the lights have taken full effect. Visit their website at lastdivebar.com or follow them on social media at Last Dive Bar. All proceeds are invested back into the A's Community Fund and their affiliated charities. Go to lastdivebar.com. That's lastdivebar.com.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
August 6th is International Trading Card Day, and Topps wants to celebrate with you. Visit your participating local hobby shop, where you will receive a free pack of cards, plus a special card if you purchase $10 or more of Topps products, while supplies last. Post your packs on social media using the hashtag ToppsITCD, and follow along with @Topps. Visit Topps.com for more information.
Coming in at 5'3", it's #1 mom. She switched to Xfinity and got the all-new 3-for-1 bundle. Unlimited internet, streaming, and Xfinity Mobile. All for what you could pay wireless companies for just one 5G unlimited line. Boom shakalaka. Go to Xfinity.com/3-for-1, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity internet. After 24 months, regular rates apply to all services and devices.
Mark your calendars. Fireworks are returning to the Coliseum on Friday, June 3rd after the A's host the Boston Red Sox.
And that swung on it high in the air down the left field line, deep in the corner. A Rosarena right down the line, fair or foul, gone!
After the game, fans will have the chance to head out onto the field to enjoy a post-game fireworks show presented by UBO Business Services. Don't miss your chance to see Game 1 of the A's Red Sox series and the best fireworks display in the Bay. Tickets are available at athletics.com.
Some things just go together. Peanut butter and jelly, cookies and milk, Oakland and Kaiser Permanente. If that last one caught you off guard, it shouldn't, because Kaiser Permanente has been helping keep Oakland healthy since our very beginning. And as the official healthcare partner of the Oakland A's, that won't be changing anytime soon. Whatever you may need, you can trust Kaiser Permanente to help keep you feeling your best. Kaiser Permanente. Thrive. Visit kp.org today.
Hey Ace fans, we've got a great deal for you. Get 4 tickets and parking for all Friday night games starting at just $39. Pick from great matchups, post-game fireworks and drone shows, giveaways, and more.
Outside corner, ring him up. And Eaton can't believe it.
Grab the crew and head to the Coliseum with friends and family any Friday night this season. 4 tickets and parking starting at just $39 for the whole group. Tickets are available at athletics.com. That's athletics.com.
Innovation that's at the heart of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students map genes from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
This is Chris Townsend for the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. Great news! Our indoor dining is back, along with our beautiful patio dining. Come taste our world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 83 years. The Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek has one of the most dynamic menus, plus a full bar. Pot pies, gourmet burgers, sandwiches, salads, flatbreads, and more. Don't forget, we still do takeout and delivery. For all the information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Streaming from the East Bay, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
We are live from the field here for A's Cast Live every single Friday. It's time for Mark Kotsay. It's the Mark Kotsay Show, which will run throughout the week, but you're listening now. You get to hear the skipper. It's now time for the Mark Kotsay Show, brought to you by Nest Bedding. Check out their locations in the Bay Area for all of your bedding needs, or you go to nestbedding.com. Check out the beds, the pillows, the bedding, and sheets. Use the coupon code Oakland to get 10% off your entire order. That's Nest Bedding locations in the Bay Area, or go online, nestbedding.com. Skip, how are you today?
Doing great. We just coming off an off day, which I think was much needed. You guys got a chance to go out and have some fun, maybe play some golf. I know you played golf yesterday, so we talked about a great golf score for yourself and a 79. It's not bad.
Yeah, I'm trying, I mean, when and I know, because we all live this lifestyle, right? Whether you're a coach, you're a player, you're a broadcaster, you're someone who works for the organization. I don't think people realize when you go for 13 or 15 or whatever it is straight days, how important it is to really have a special off day where you do relax, but you got to take care of family stuff. I know you go back home to be with the family. Just talk about what you preach to the players and your coaches about how to really take care of your business and cherish those off days.
Yeah, no question. You really got to find a way to disconnect. And, this game is challenging in itself, just in terms of results, but also the physical challenge of just the everyday grind of coming and competing and playing, 162 games and 180 plus days. So when you get that day off, you really do need to give yourself a mental blow as well as the physical side. And some guys, they take advantage of getting, their body worked on or just basically going out and like you did, play golf and just lose your mind away from the game. And really, for those that have families in town, just enjoy the kids. Whether I remember my days going to the parks and just sitting there and watching the kids, play on the playground. Just gives you a release, and it's good, especially after, like you said, 13 days in a row.
So when I think about your shortstop and I think about leadership, everybody thinks about leadership as a guy who's a rah-rah guy and he's giving speeches, and in the olden days, they'd turn over the spread and all this kind of stuff. But really, some of the great leaders, I think Marcus Semien, who I know you're tight with, was one of those guys who truly led by example. You knew that guy came every day, worked hard, everybody noticed it. And if Marcus Semien is out there busting his butt, you better be out there busting your butt. And I see that with Elvis and everything Elvis has accomplished in this game and where he's at in his career. What has he meant to you guys as a leader, especially as lately he is absolutely red hot?
He has been swinging the bat very well. And as we talked about in spring training, this guy's a true professional. He comes prepared to play the game every day. His impact in that locker room in that regard, he's he's been in this game a long time. He's been very successful, and he continues to just grind. It's a testament to how he takes care of his body. After the end of the season, as his third base coach, when I was rounding him around third, and he was injured and basically broke his bone into his ankle or foot, and he scores, right, sliding in home. That says so much about who he is as a person. And we really didn't know what to expect in terms of his timeline and getting back to us this year. Exceeded all expectations and is continuing to go out and perform on a daily basis for us.
God, that was so gruesome. We kind of forget about it, but the fact that he did score and go through everything that he went through in the off season, it is pretty amazing when you look out there and you're like, he's playing every day.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. But it doesn't surprise us. Those that know him, know the competitor, and know the drive. He wants to continue to play until he's 38, 39, 40. So, I've started those discussions with him in terms of just, hey, we're going to need to give you some rest. We're going to, we may need to think about your role going forward in the future, because it is a difficult task to go out and play a very demanding position at 33 on a daily basis and play as many games as you're used to playing. So I know he's thought about it. He's talked to some of his former teammates, the Adrian Beltres of the world, and they're also helping him in that. When we get older, we do need more rest. We need more days off, and there will be at some point, if you want to stay in this game and continue to play a transition into a utility role.
Well, a lot of people don't really think about it, but we have all lived it. And when you lose just a little bit, whether it's a little bit of flexibility, it's a little bit of your eyesight, just a little bit, it's a dramatic change. And as you said, if you want to play into your late 30s, is it easy to help a guy to try and cope with that, knowing that, hey, listen, your body will change as you age?
Yeah, that's never easy. I think just speaking on a personal level, looking back at when I was starting to transition my career, mostly from the 2 back surgeries, but really the aging process, the aging curve, you really got to train harder than ever off the field and keeping yourself in shape. And but then you also have to be a good self-evaluator, and a lot of us aren't good self-evaluators when it comes to looking at how we're performing or whether we feel we can go out and hit a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. We're always going to say we can, right, because of our ego and our pride. But at some point, you got to realize that you're cheating to hit that heater, and you're guessing fastball and you're looking really bad on the changeup. But that's part of the process when we get older as players. And I'm sure for those of us in this room, the coaching staff and those that have grinded through it, we all will be a part of that.
Obviously you got to have some moments that you enjoy, especially when you're on a little bit of a losing streak. And I think of Bethancourt going yard for the first time in forever. How much did everybody get a kick out of that?
No, we all enjoyed it. We've been waiting for Bethancourt to run into one. You come out, you get a chance to get here early enough when we take batting practice to watch his pure power. He hits the ball as far as anyone, and that's including Sean Murphy in that conversation that can impact the baseball and hit it really far. So it's been a long time coming for Beth. I think I saw something over 2,000. I don't know if it was days or games or it's probably not games because I don't think he's played 2,000 games here, but a long time coming, and I think it was really exciting for him, and what a great reward for the grind that he's been through to get back to this major league level.
This weekend, we're going to have much bigger crowds, especially on Friday night tonight with the fireworks and Red Sox in town. How nice is that going to see for you guys, the team, a ballpark that's much fuller?
Well, we'll definitely feed off the energy. One thing we do need to play better at home or find a way to win at home. We've had success on the road. I think we're a 500 team at this point on the road. But having people in the stands this weekend, playing a good quality baseball team in the Red Sox, there's some exciting stuff going on this weekend. We can talk about the 72 World Series team that we're honoring, the fireworks tonight. So it's a fun weekend. We're excited about it, and looking forward to going out and playing good baseball.
Will you talk to the players at all about the 72 team, which obviously was the start of 3 straight championships, 72, 73, 74?
Yeah, we'll definitely be out there. Love for the guys to get a chance to meet some of these guys. If there's an opportunity to bring them through the clubhouse, we'll try to make that work. I read an article, and obviously the 72, 73, 74 years were prior to me being born. So, I've learned a lot about this team and the Gene Tennis MVP, having to be taken to the ballpark separate from the bus. Some great stories. I mean, I know Blue Moon Odom a little bit from being around the club. I've been around Reggie Jackson a little bit, Raleigh Fingers, Vita Blue, Campy, Joe Rudy. All those guys will be out here, so it should be a fun day for them and ourselves.
Yeah, you think about the run of all the straight years in the playoffs, and in the middle of that, 3 straight World Series. Is that just, when you think about it as a player, as a coach, and now a manager, winning 3 straight, how hard that is, the grind that every year, the excellence that you have to have. Just, can you put it in perspective and think about what that would be like to win 3 in a row?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a modern team. I don't believe the Yankees won 3 in a row in the 90s, did they?
Yeah, they're the last ones to win 3 in a row.
The last one. So, yeah, really, really remarkable. And like you say, as a player, I never got an opportunity to be in a World Series. I was a part of a team that did end up winning a World Series in 1997, which was the Florida Marlins. I was up on that team for 18 days and got to feel what it was like to be a part of that championship team. But it's a real testament to that group of guys, and not only the team, but from the ownership perspective, and their willingness to keep these guys together and provide them what they needed year in, year out to get to that World Series and not only get there but to win it.
Well, baseball historians have always said, if Mark Kotsay doesn't come up for those games in 97, they don't win the World Series there in Florida.
Downey, I appreciate the humor, buddy. It was fun being there, though. The team, the group of guys, Gary Sheffield and, Devon White, and Moises Alou and Kevin Brown. And so there were guys in the middle of their careers, that really helped me in the beginning of my career. So I look back at them, their mentorship, and was blessed to have them around me. We spoke about this prior to, doing this interview. When there's great teams, and then there's teams that you grind with, and so that was a great team to be a part of for sure.
They were a phenomenal team, and I wish Wayne Huizenga wouldn't have broken that up, because it would have been interesting to allow those guys to keep adding to that team and see if they could have maybe won 1 or 2 more, because there was so much talent. And Jim Leland there, it was a hell of a run. Let's talk about your bullpen. There's ups and downs. You try and tell people, especially in the post-game show, that, we talk about the season being a roller coaster ride. Bullpens, there's going to be times where everybody's hot. There's going to be times where everybody's going to be cold. There's going to be times where some guys are hot, some guys are cold. So what's it been like you so far dealing with a bullpen?
Yeah, I thought, the first let's say 4 weeks or 5 weeks of our year, our bullpen, we were able to align those guys with soft entries. You got to remember, a lot of these guys are first time rookies down there at this level. So, we're in to the season far enough now, where you talk about, the day in, day out demand of the bullpen, the usage. You can look at it in terms of, maybe they're a little tired. Maybe they're going through some learning curves. Maybe the league has figured them out a little bit. They know their mix in terms of their pitches. So, again, when you're looking at a track record and in the bullpen right now, that's Zach Jackson, it's Danny Jimenez, it's Parker Markle, it's Austin Pruitt, AJ Puck, Sam Selman. The only guy down there right now that's been a major league bullpen reliever that has time, really, or a significant amount of time, is Lou Trevino. So, and Lou's pitched better of late in situations we've brought him in. He's been successful. So it's a roller coaster. It's a long year. Those guys have a very demanding job. You could sit there for a couple of days and not get into a game. But, we're going to go through that. And every team goes through those bullpen ups and downs and hot hands. And when you find one, you ride them. And, we're in a grind right now where, we're going to continue going forward with these guys and continue to believe in them and to continue to build confidence in them.
Let's end on this. I always like to end on a positive. And obviously today this is going to air on A's Cast Live, but we'll run the entire week until we talk to you next week in Cleveland. There are times where you just say, hey, listen, the home hasn't been good, but on the road, you guys are 13-13. Is sometimes when things aren't going well at home, you can actually look forward to the road and say, hey, the road is a good place for us.
Well, it has been so far this year. And, again, this weekend we want to win a series here against Boston. They're a good club. They've been swinging the bats better. We'll go on the road to Atlanta, which obviously is a World Series championship team, and then off to Cleveland before we speak again. So Atlanta, Cleveland, two good ball clubs, two good cities, and we'll look forward to catching back up next Friday, Tommy.
All right, buddy, you be well and enjoy this series. We're going to have quite a few fans out the next 3 days, and we'll talk to you in Cleveland on Friday.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
The Mark Kotsay Show, brought to you by Nest Betting. Check out Nest Betting locations in the Bay Area, or you go online to nestbetting.com. Love where you sleep. Use the coupon code Oakland for your mattress, your pillows, your sheets. Support our sponsors, for God's sakes. They're huge A's fans. Go to nestbetting.com or check out their locations in the Bay Area. You look like you got something to say.
No, I don't have anything to say. I'm just scoreboard watching. All rise. Here comes the judge, first player to 20 home runs this year.
By the way, Joe Girardi fired. We're looking out already.
Yep.
Phillies lead the Angels 4-0 in the fourth. We had the note.
Well, hold on. Angels looking to avoid their 9th straight loss.
The note that I tried to say that it was my note, but I'd be lying to you. Since 1969, 174 teams have had multiple managers in a season and that they have managed 20 games or more. So 174 teams since 1969. So basically what we're seeing, Girardi removed, and now you have an interim manager. Only 14 times did one of those teams make the postseason. So just because you change your manager, especially early, doesn't mean a whole lot of postseason success.
Okay. Let me ask you real quick before we go. There were 2 teams that have done it, won the World Series.
Jack McKeon and the Marlins.
That's one. Who's the other?
That replaced their manager and then won the World Series. Couldn't tell you.
Jack McKeon ties into this. The 1978 Yankees. Why, you ask? Because Jack McKeon took over for I'm trying to remember who was managing. For who was managing the A's in 78, got fired with a winning record. McKeon came in, managed the A's to like 30 games under 500. But the Yankees replaced their manager and won the World Series that year.
Is that a Billy Martin 78 special?
Let's just take a look real quick. Let's see who the 1978 Yankees manager was.
We'd like to thank Dave O'Brien from the Boston Red Sox, A's left-hander Cole Irvin, and the manager Mark Kotsay.
You're right. It was Billy Martin, who got fired after being 10 games over. And then Dick Hauser got fired after being owned.
The great Dick Hauser got 1 game.
He got fired. And then Bob Lemon went 48.
Hauser didn't get fired, but he was in the organization. So the Bob Lemon took over and took him to the World Series.
They won the World Series. They were 48 and 20 with Lemon. And then the A's, I'm drawing a blank. Bobby Winkles, the great Arizona State coach, 24 and 15, fired. Here comes Jack McKeon. They go 45 and 78.
Tomorrow, special, we're honoring the 1972 team. Get out here, and you're supporting greatness. You want to see greatness? The start of 3 straight World Series championships. We're going to interview as many as we can tomorrow. It'll be limited, but we'll interview as many as we can for A's Cast Live. Got to get me some Reggie. Got to get me some Raleigh. Got to get me some Gino. You know him as Gene Tennis.
Yeah, MVP of the 1972 World Series. The FBI was involved, too. That's a great story.
That is. All right, I'll be back in 13 minutes. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching A's Cast Live. We're back when? Tuesday?
Tuesday before we take on Wash, Walt Weiss, Matt Olson, and the Braves.
God. All of our old A's friends are down there in hot Atlanta. We'll talk about it on Tuesday. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back in 13 minutes.
The Coliseum has gone by many names, but none better than the Last Dive Bar. Hi, everyone. Ken Korak here, and my friends at Last